Welcome, 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 everyone. I am your host, Dr. Rosalind Willis, better known as Coach Roz, the Birthing Purpose Coach. And I remind everyone that I make, as long as you got a pulse, you have a purpose. You have something in this big, beautiful world that only you and you alone can do. So, welcome to International Internship University, which is IIU. It brings to you a talk show to inspire successful living, to give wings to your dreams. IIU is a leading virtual education system and global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well reputed in delivering innovative programs globally. It is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Sir Piyush Pandit, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. I want to stop right now and say to all my sisters from all over the globe, happy Women's History Month. I celebrate each and every one of you. Now, today I want to welcome my guest to the show, an amazing leader and coach. Her name is Tonni Lea Larson. Let me tell you a little bit about her, and then I'm gonna let her tell you about her. Coach Tonni Lea Larson is the author of 4 published books. Most recent one is Healing Broken Women. She said she's developed her own 12 steps to healing video course and worksheet. She's a life coach and motivational speaker. She's currently promoting her own conference, Healing Conferences, Heal in So Many Ways, TV show through Traverse Network, which is the Tonni Lea TV, Healing Hearts in 12 Steps. She has been featured on front covers of many magazines like Newswire magazine, podcasts, radio talk shows, webinars, TV shows, and conferences. She's co-authored with many other authors in Healing and Growth book, which is one that we co-authored together. A mother of 2 amazing adult children, one child that is in heaven, and a grandma of 6 beautiful grandchildren. She says, I am a 15-year warrior with a brain tumor, a 5-year breast cancer warrior. I salute you, my sister, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Rosalind, Queen Rosalind. I appreciate this so very much.
Yes, it's my honor to have you. And I'm so glad. And like I said, I salute you. You've been through so many amazing things, and yet and still you continue to push women forward, men forward. You still continue to push people forward no matter what you've been through. And I commend you for all that you do for the world and to change the world and make it better, my sister.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I know any different.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. So please tell the audience, who is Tonni Lea Larson?
And it's Tonni Lea.
Tonni
I know a lot of
Lea.
people think it's Leah, but yeah, it's Tonni Lea. Yeah. Tonni Lea, first and foremost, is a daughter of the Most High King. That I will take with me all the way to heaven, and that is who I am. And he has shown me that so many, many times. And that's one of the reasons why I go by Tonni Lea, because he told me no matter what your last name is, he said, I created you in your mother's womb as Tonni Lea. And that's who I am. I'm not just a warrior, but I'm a thriver, because I have taken everything that I have been through since the age of 5, and it has made me who I am today. And it has caused me to become the warrior, become a thriver, survivor, and to have a heart for all of those that have been abused sexually, who have been betrayed, who have been through trauma. Yeah, and the women especially. That is my ministry. That is what God has created my heart to be for. So being a mom and a grandma, those are the most special gifts ever. Yeah. Even when your children wander away and they do the things that they do and stuff, you still love them. You love them unconditionally, and nothing will ever change that. My daughter in heaven, she's in heaven by my own hands because of my abortion, but I long for the day that I get to meet her. I just
Yes.
long for that day. So that is who Tonni Lea is.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Um, so what is your definition of successful living?
Finding out who you are. You know, when I became a single person for the first time since I was about 17 years old, because I'd always either been married or single for a little while, but to really be on my own, oh my goodness, the things that I found out about myself, and to take care of myself, because I come first in a very healthy way, not a selfish way. But I have to take care of myself in order to fill myself up so that I'm able to pour out into other people. But first and foremost, of course, is living a life that God has ordained for you. You know, it's a choice. You can do as He wants you, you know, and guide you to do, or you can choose to do it on your own. And most of the time, I should say, I choose to do what He wants me to do. But that is a successful life. And looking forward, yeah, there's times I have to look back and see where I have come from. But I have learned not to carry it along with me and just to keep looking forward.
Yes, that is what it's all about. Staying
Yeah.
focused, going forward, and almost
Mhm.
having those blinders on, like, okay, this is my
Right?
destination. And no matter what distractions try to come over here, I gotta get here. Yes,
Yeah. It's tough, but it's doable.
yes,
Yep.
ma'am. I agree. What is your passion?
Oh, my biggest passion? My biggest passion, this is just kind of the silly side of me, but NASCAR drag races.
Really?
That is my passion. Oh my goodness. Yes, I do not live too joyfully from about the end of November to the 1st of February because there is no races. So
Wow.
but that's the childlike passion within me. But the big passion of my heart is to help others, to
Mhm.
know that they can make it through any journey, if they
Yes.
so choose to, and to walk alongside them. You know, there's some journeys that I had to do pretty much on my own, but this last journey, to have a support group, to have people that I was accountable to, people that I could call and say, what do you think of this? And, you know, not people that bossed me around or told
Come
me what
on.
I had to do, but people that walked beside me. And that is my heart's passion, is to walk through someone's hard journey beside them and let them know that they have support. So,
Yes. That is
yeah.
so important, especially in our world, with all
Yes,
the things that's going on. It's a blessing to have a consistent support system,
absolutely.
because that's what makes
Yes,
it easy for you to walk through those different changes of life, those different storms that we no matter how beautiful a day can be, eventually a storm is going to come. And
absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? So we can have our umbrella for the rain. We can protect ourselves when there's a tornado. We can find a place to take cover. But to be able to go through all those different seasons of life and know you have a consistent support system, it makes it easier to be able to
Absolutely.
walk through it. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yep. Wouldn't be here without mine.
Come on.
Mm-mm.
Same here. Same
No.
here. I always ask this question. It's one that I've also often had to ask myself. If you could go back in time and give a message to your 10-year-old self, what would it be?
Mm. Rosalind, it's funny that you should ask this because in through the 12 steps, that was part of the process. And, you know, in fact, I
Wow.
even had to go back to my 5-year-old self and to tell her that things were okay and it was never her fault. So the 10-year-old girl inside of me, I would say the same thing. it's not your fault that life was the way that it was. People around you made the bad choices, and all you can do is just keep going forward. You don't have to carry the responsibility of everyone around you either. I wish I would have learned that at the age 10, because then I wouldn't have been such a big server, serving other people just to make sure that I got noticed, or that was my satisfaction. Or no, because Tonni was who Tonni was. And at the age of 10, she should have been more of a child and not carried around so much of the load. But circumstances are, and I was not the only one. I mean, there are so many kids that they have to do that responsibility, but it did make me who I was. But I would have told her, stop and smell the roses just a little bit more. But there's so many things that I would not change, because if I changed anything, I would not be where I am today. So God reminded me, be thankful for everything. And I have to remind myself sometimes, and, thankful for everything that I went through in life, because it has made me and brought me to where I am today.
Yes, that is so
Mhm.
true. And that's, that going back to that child in us is so important. And we have a
Oh,
lot of listeners on, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. They're chiming in and they're commenting and everything from all over the world, literally. But everyone has to at one time or another face the child within, because you have a lot of adults that are still stuck. They're still stuck in the place that the
absolutely.
trauma happened, and they're
Yes.
growing as adults, but they still have not released the voice of the little girl or the little boy within them. And
Right.
that trauma is still literally, they're living through that trauma. And I had to learn that, and I'm pretty sure you had to learn that as well.
Yeah.
That once God delivers you from that, it changes you, it changes who you
Mhm.
are. And once you get a voice, I had to unmute my 10-year-old self because I was muted for a
Yes.
long time. So I had to
Absolutely.
give myself a voice and be able to say, hey, hold up, you're hurting me. That's not right. You
True.
can't do that to
Yes.
me. You see?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's so important.
Yes, it is. And Dr. Roslyn, I can tell, by some of these women, and they say how, because that's mainly who I work with, and they'll say, well, the husband or the boyfriend or, somebody acted this way. And then I'm like, okay, so what age would you say that is? That's where he's stuck at his trauma. And it is,
Exactly.
that you say that, because, oh, definitely. I mean, there's still sometimes that, I get so upset, and I go back and I can act like that little 5-year-old child again. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we just have to give ourselves permission to get out of there. And it was not our fault.
Exactly. That's the
Mhm.
part. That's the part of really understanding that, because you have so many kids, and I'm even dealing with the youth. I talk to a lot of young kids that are still stuck in traumas because they come from homes with drug addicted parents, parents in prison, grandma
Yeah,
raising them, and and they're still beating themselves up for somebody hurting them at 5 years old or
absolutely.
6 year
Yeah.
old, and they don't know how to move forward in life and be productive because they're still stuck in that place.
That's
So it's so
right.
important to help them find their identity at age wherever they're at. Find them and meet them right where they're at, and walk
Right.
them through that place of releasing the child within.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree. Awesome. Yes.
ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So I've been looking, online, and I see you got some wonderful things going on. And one of the things that I saw was that really, really stuck out, and I was like, "Wow, tell us about your redemption webinars."
Oh, that was on Thursday. That was so amazing, because Diana was in South Africa, and we had just connected as friends on Facebook, and she wanted to
Wow.
connect. And so we connected together. She's an amazing lady. And as she's talking, God is putting them in my head, like he always does, webinar, webinar, webinar. And I'm like, okay. So I asked her, I said, would you be open to that? And she said, oh, that would be phenomenal. She said,
Wow.
that's something that I've been thinking about. And so we did that, and, just let God lead it and everything. And so we did that on Thursday. And that is something that I think we're going to keep doing every month. An
It was
international webinar.
amazing.
Yeah, and as we were praying and stuff, she said, Isaiah, what is it? Isaiah, I get it mixed up. Isaiah 43:2, about the redemption, of God and stuff. And then, the fact that you even go through a fire and, you're not going to smell like smoke or anything like that. And when the waters are high, and so what does it mean to be redeemed? And
Yeah.
as I said in the webinar, to me, redemption is not necessarily the restoration of restoring, because he says he will restore what the locust ate, right? So he's going to
Mm-hmm.
restore everything that we have lost, but it's not that we restore what we lost. He even gives you the better. And that's the fifth book I'm working on, is God wants his greatest for you. And it's like, okay, so he redeems us. That means that he's going to bless us with even bigger and greater things in our lives. That's
Yes.
redemption. Redemption is what he did at the cross, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
didn't just give back the old law. He gave you the new law. He gave you the new way to go. You don't have to go and sacrifice an animal or yourself anymore, because he did that for us. We can
Mm-hmm.
just boldly and freely go to him. So to me, that was what
Yes.
redemption was about. And many of them talked about how they've been redeemed in their life and in their business and their ministry. So it was amazing. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I saw that and I thought that's nice. I have to see what that was about. And then I saw you have your healing conferences. Tell us
Yes.
about that. What is that all about?
That's another one of those, I just love how God works, because he sends you somewhere just maybe so we can have some quiet time with you, like on the
Mm-hmm.
airplane. I was doing, for my TV show, I was doing an interview with this young lady, Lisa, and I just kept hearing the healing conference. And so I asked her about it. She said, yeah, I'll be, because she's a nutritionist, fitness lady. And so then I went to New York to Jesse Cruz's conference. And so on the way home, it's 3.5 hour flight. And he just kept loading all of this stuff in my brain.
Wow.
And for me, with the brain tumor, to load it up, it's like, okay, Lord Jesus, then you got to take over, because I'm not going to remember anything that you say, right?
Mhm.
And so I get home and I just start making all of these connections. And
Wow.
everybody said, oh, you can't do it, because he gave me the date, December 9th and 10th. And it was like 6 weeks, and they're like, you can't put that all together. Well, God opened
Mm.
every so within 6 weeks in Colorado Springs, we had the first one, and I believe it was 12 speakers at that time. And then in the audience, I just felt these two people that I knew from my town to come up, and they were to speak. So now the young lady that came up and gave her story is doing a conference here in town. And
Wow.
so then I am going to do the next one in June 9th and 10th.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, and it's healing. And it's about, when you start healing your mind, your heart gets healed, and your body starts healing, and your spirit and your soul heal, because they're all connected. So when you
Yes.
go through trauma, it affects you physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. So, and of course, the 12 steps are so huge in my life, because that is the journey that I took for my recovery of being married to a sex addict. And so, yeah, healing conference, healing in so many ways.
Yeah. So you said twice, I think I heard you say about the 12 steps. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about what the 12 steps consist of for somebody out there that may need some healing and need to know how to move forward from trauma and things to that factor, some of our listening audience?
Yeah, I forget what his last name is, but Bill Wilson, I think it is, that did the 12 steps so long ago. And it
Mm-hmm.
became a program, that alcoholics use, and then, for the drug addicts and all of that.
Okay.
And Dr. Doug Weiss, who treats not only those that are sex addicts, but he treats the partner or the ex-partner or whatever. And that is
Mm-hmm.
how I found my recovery. And he took each of the 12 steps. And he did, for betrayal and trauma, being married alone, someone that's married to a sex addict, that type of stuff. And so you go through each step And of course, the first step is that we have to admit to God and to ourselves and to others that our lives have become totally unmanageable. And by
Mm,
admitting that, I am giving away all of my power. I'm powerless. I am powerless over myself. Um, or yeah, more or less powerless over yourself, but you're powerless over people, and God should be in full control. Although I am responsible for how I act or how I react to someone else's behavior, their
right.
words, actions, any of that type of stuff, I'm not responsible for anyone else whatsoever. But how I react to what they have said or done to me is completely all on me. And so I
Mhm.
went through each 12 steps, and I went through 3 different sets of the 12-step books, and it was absolutely amazing. And that's how I became a leader and did that within my home. And then, as I started doing the books and stuff, that's how God led me to working with Gordon Duncan into doing that 12-step course, where I'd done a video letting you know what that first, what the step is all about. And then there's a worksheet that goes along with it. And you just start digging deep into yourself is
That's
what it's all
awesome.
about, is just getting all of that gunk out of there. But yeah, the 12 steps, it's just part of my life. And then of course, 12 step is all about moving forward, giving it back, paying it forward, whatever you want to say, but it's taking what you have learned and giving out to others.
That's awesome. I know one of the sayings, my husband is an addiction counselor, and one of the sayings that they use a lot is in addiction is you can't keep it if you don't give it away.
That's
you
right.
know and so and I believe that in so many ways, with when we think about empowerment, when we think about love, the way you
Yes,
keep love is you give it away. It's the more love you give away, the more you keep.
that's
The
right.
more empowerment you give away, the more you keep. The more you push someone else forward, the more you get pushed forward.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And
So
isn't
I
that
love
just
that.
kind of like about in everything? Because,
Yes,
you can take something that you don't even use at home, but you see someone that needs it. Well, you just pay it forward. You go into Starbucks and, God just nudges you, pay for the person behind you. Well, and then all you say is tell them, God bless you, and pay it forward.
exactly.
And it's kind of just an ongoing thing, but it takes a choice on our part, right? We have to
Yes.
choose to do that. Yep. Mhm.
That's
I love
it.
it.
We have to make the choice to do it. And when
Absolutely.
when you have a heart to give, it's so easy to do.
It is.
It's a joy. You know what I'm saying? It's a joy to be a blessing to someone else, to see someone that
Absolutely.
had nothing, to have something. Me and my grandkids went to the store the other day. My two of my youngest ones, they're 9 and 8. And we were getting ready to go into the store, and there were two homeless men that were right outside the store. And I kind of noticed them when we were going in. They were, kind of not real close to the front of the store, but just right enough to where we could see them. And I watched them kind of look at them. So we went on in the store, and I made sure to get some stuff for them as well. And we
Mm,
came out of the store, and we went over, and the boys were looking at me like, "What are we doing, Nana?" And I said, "Let's go and give them something." I said, and then let's pray with them. And so they looking at me, and they was like, "Okay, Nana." And I've done it with some of my other grandbabies. It was my first time doing it with them. And they were just so excited to give to these men
yeah.
and to pray for these men and to see their hearts and their little faces light up. And I told them how important it is, to plant those seeds while they're small.
That's right.
That, there's gonna be somebody that's not as fortunate as we are. But when we can be
Right.
a blessing, let's be a blessing. So it literally is something that's stuck in their heart, that they'll never forget that first time and
No,
that first
never.
experience of
Yep.
giving to someone less fortunate to themselves, not looking down on them to that they're not good, you know what I'm saying? But really understanding, we're not only are we gonna give them something, but we're gonna pray with them, and we're gonna encourage them, and we're gonna love on them, and pray that God blesses them. And so
Mhm.
that's what it's all about, giving back, being an example.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I completely agree. And that, your journey brought me back to my twin grandsons who, well, they're actually 16 now, but, when they
Wow.
were little, because they love to do that type of stuff too. They're
Yes.
such giving, caring hearts. I think all of my grandchildren are the way, but I just remember these two because, where they grew up, there was many, many of those, sadly. And because they knew the fact that their uncle, my son, was also considered one of those because he was out on the streets
Wow.
probably 15 plus years. And
Wow.
so, yeah, that is a big heart of mine. And,
Yeah.
I have learned even within my own town, just going to this park where a lot of them hang out and stuff. It's not that they want something necessarily. I mean, they love to have food brought to them and that type of stuff like that. They just want someone to sit there and listen and talk to them.
Exactly.
Oh
Exactly.
my goodness, the stories they can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
just to sit and listen to them. Yeah. And then pray with them.
Exactly.
The giving
Yes.
heart. Hmm. Love
I
it.
love it. Love it. Love it. What motivates you, Tonni?
Things like that. Things that you have learned, experiences. I can just remember going to the city. It's Colorado Springs, a bigger city away from me, but where my son lived. And, people were like, oh, don't go there because, they're mean, horrible people. You're not safe. I tell you what, Dr. Roslyn, I was the safest because I knew my son had my back. And so many of the people that he hung out with, they were just amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't live inside, a home or facility or anything like that because of their drugs addictions or whatever, or they dislike the government and they don't want all the rules and regulation and stuff, but they're people.
That's
um
right.
the the biggest motivator is to have my father's heart. If I have my father's heart, then I can look at people and see people and love people as he does.
That's
And that
right.
is my constant reminder because my father loves everyone. He does not
Yes.
love the sin. He does not love that and that's why he took all of that to the cross. But he does love the people, and he wants the people all. If you think about it, he wants each and every person that has been born or created and born. He wants them to come home, right? But it
Yes.
is their choice. But that is the love of the Father, each and every one of them. And if I can see his footsteps in front of me, then I can go the places that he has.
Yes.
His
That's beautiful. I love that. And I could see that, that poem, the footsteps in the
footsteps.
sand. That's
Absolutely.
what it made me think about when you said that. But my favorite part is where the set of footprints stop, is where he carries us.
Carried me.
And
Yes.
yes, yes, and that's what's so good about our God is, there's times that I may be too weak to walk. I
Right.
may be to the place where I've went through so much that I don't even know how to put my first foot forward. But he's such a
Oh,
good and gracious God. They'll pick us up and
yes.
walk us through the times that we cannot walk ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so I love that. That's one of the footprints in the sand is one of my favorite poems
Me too.
for that
Yeah.
reason. So when you said that, that's literally what came back to me, like, oh my gosh, I love
Yeah.
that.
And
Yes.
it's been mine, oh gosh, probably way back in like middle school or something. I think it was when I first realized it, but that is how he shows me. Because if I'll say, okay, Father, what way do you want me to go? And he'll say, well, do you see my footsteps? If I don't see him, yes, there's times that Tanya just goes right ahead because she thinks she knows, the better way. But yeah, if I don't see his footsteps, then I'm not going that way.
Come on. We got people chiming in. Nana Kasaya, she says, often all we need to be is successful in life and act on that potential is to simply know how to get started, remain consistent, and pursue success throughout our entire lifetime. That's true. That's
Ooh,
true. And
that's
sometimes
good.
yeah, sometimes it's just a
Ooh,
matter of starting. You know what
that's
I'm
right.
saying? Just starting. It's even
Right.
like in the mornings time when you got something you got to do, like me this morning. It was just a matter of getting up.
Get up.
Once you
Yeah.
get up, hey, okay, I know what I got to do. It's the same with
Right.
starting. You have to remain consistent and continue to. Very good comment. Yes,
That
yes,
is good.
yes, yes.
That's how I look at faith, because you can say that you have all the faith in the world, but if
Come
you
on.
don't take and put that foot in front of, step out there, then you don't have faith. Faith is activated when you lift up that foot and you start walking. That is
Yes.
faith, because God's going to show you what to do. He's going to equip you. He's going to open doors for you. But you have to take that step. Absolutely.
Faith without
That's
works is
yeah.
dead.
Oh, right. Yep. Well,
It
people
has
in
to work.
recovery, they have to choose to want that recovery. You can tell them what to do all you want to, but until they make that choice and they make that first step forward, then that's a commitment. Then that's what they want to do.
That's so
So
true.
life is,
And, and
everything.
that's one of the hardest things. I had did a show a few years ago, which we're probably going to do another one. My baby sister, we talk about it, and she's, I thank glory to God, he's delivered her, but she was on a meth for some years. And I'm the eldest of my siblings, so the hardest thing for me to not be able to reach her, to be, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
to
Right.
to not know how to deal with an addiction and things to that factor. But the Holy Spirit taught me, you know what I'm saying, how to meet her where she was, and I remember the time when he said, you know what, because I was the one that she would call no matter what, you know what I'm saying, and we got to a point where everybody had moved away from New Mexico, and she was still there, and she was in an empty
Mm,
house, still in her addiction. And we, she has 4 kids. We had, all the kids and everything, and but she was still there, and she would always call me. And I was at the time, I was living in Abilene, Texas, and she was in New Mexico. And she would call me and say, hey, I'm hungry. So then I would call the Pizza Hut and pay for the pizza and send her food. And I remember the day God told me, don't do it anymore. That was, Tony, that was the hardest thing in the world
it
when he told
is.
me that. She called me and she said, I need you to send me some food. And I said, and with tears rolling down my face, I said, I can't. She said, what? Because everybody would tell her no, but I had never told her no. She was my baby sister. I was her protector. I was the one that was supposed to help her no matter what. And she's telling me she's hungry. And I got to tell her no. And she uses that as a testimony to this day. That was her rock bottom. Because she said she
Exactly.
knew that if
Yep.
I couldn't help her anymore, that she had to get out of that addiction. And all glory to God, she's going on 7 years clean. She came
Wow.
home. She came to one of my ladies' tea. God completely delivered her, and she's doing good with her children. She has a whole nother life, and I mean, every time I see her, I get so excited. And that's just really to empower somebody out there that may listen later, that may be listening now, that
Yeah.
may have somebody that is dealing with drug addiction or something that they like, oh my gosh, how do I reach that person? Because you're dealing with the drug, you're not even dealing with the
Right.
individual. They
Right.
don't even, some of them not even aware of what they're doing
Yep.
until they get set free.
Yep.
So I just felt led to share that little piece or what have you, on this broadcast today. But yes,
Well,
it's
and I
so
can
important.
relate. I can relate to that, Dr. Roslyn, because of the fact I had to do that to my son.
Mhm.
Um, the more times that he ended up in jail, the more I had to step away. Oh my gosh, because I could not stand the fact that my little baby was in jail. So I would bail him out,
Oh,
bail him out, bail him out, and he'd end up back in jail, end up back in there. Drugs, all that kind of stuff. And he was hooked on meth. And do you know there's only 2% of the meth users stay clean? And my son is alcoholic, and so he's going on 6 years himself. I'm just waiting
oh,
for God to, really clean his life up. But
thank you,
he's
Lord.
sober and he's clean and he's in recovery. But
Yes.
yeah, when you have to tell your son that don't call me from jail,
Mm,
don't, I'm not going to come see you, and he calls and says I need money because I'm starving, to say no, it kills you. It kills
hard.
you. I
Yeah.
would have rather have starved myself than to tell my son that I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
But when he went
Exactly.
to jail for the 29th time, that's when he
Wow.
finally decided that it was time that he got clean. Yep.
Thank you,
So
Lord.
yeah.
Wow.
Celebrate your sister. Oh my goodness, that's
I
awesome.
do. I do.
Yes.
I do. I'm so excited and proud of
Yeah.
her. And she knows she's one of the ones that I share the testimony about, because people give up on their loved
Yes.
ones and
Yeah.
we don't even realize what part we play in their addiction. You know what I'm saying? And I had to
No, right.
learn that. I had to
Yeah.
learn that, going
Yes, ma'am.
through her going through, as she went through her treatment, they had group sessions and we would go to the group sessions because I
Hmm.
wanted to get to understand it, because I didn't understand anything about addiction. That was never something
Right.
that I ever had to deal with, but everybody has their own testimony, their own story, their own thing that they have to walk through, that they have to reach a
Absolutely.
certain part of people that we may not ever be able to reach
That's
you
right.
know. So I'm grateful to God for that. I am.
Yeah,
What
that's
is your
awesome.
message to young girls, Tonni?
Oh, find out who you are. Don't forget how amazing and beautiful and priceless you are. Even if you're not walking with the Lord, it's quite all right. I pray that you do, but you are still valuable, priceless, precious.
Yes.
And yeah, boundaries are so essential in our life too. Boundaries. And boundaries are not against someone else, but they are to protect our heart because our heart is so valuable. So above all things, protect your heart. Don't forget to be a child. Just,
Hmm.
my grandmother passed away at the age of 92 and she was still a child at heart. I love that. And
Wow.
she said, you can grow up in years, but never, ever grow up, never lose that child. So that's why I say, silly me. I love the NASCARs. I love the races. That's just the silly part of me. I love going outside, being in my yard, that type of stuff. So treat your heart well. Treat your heart well. Take care of yourself because you're priceless.
I love that. Treat your heart well. And my
Mhm.
mine is fishing. I love, oh my
Fishing.
gosh. I love to fish. And my
Oh,
daddy,
that's awesome.
yes, before my daddy went to be with the Lord, I was his partner. That's what we did
Oh,
together. We spent hours and hours fishing together. And now my husband goes with me, and I can
oh,
get lost. I can go early in the morning into
oh,
late, late, late at night. I mean, with having to
fun.
put our lights out. Like, I love fishing. I get lost in it. So that's my childlike thing that I love to do. I love
Right.
to fish.
I love it.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
awesome.
It's the best feeling in the world to put that fish out there, the cork out there in the water, and wait for the fish to take it under. Because when it
Mhm.
bobs down and goes under the water, that's when you know you got a
You
bite.
know
And
you
then
got one. Yeah.
pull back and
Grew
it
up
really
that
is.
way.
It's the best feeling. I'm telling you, I love it. Yes, yes. So that's
Yeah.
that child. Yeah.
I love watching those bass fishers. Yeah, how they, those competitions that they have and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I
It
don't like the
is.
smell of them or the touch of them, but it's fun to watch. Yeah. I had enough when I was growing up. It's like, no, no more.
I was so funny because I always get my gloves because I don't like to touch them. So I have to have gloves on when I
There you
catch
go.
them. It's the funniest thing, but and I'm like that too. It's like the smell, but I mean, I just love, the other parts of it.
The
There's
other
some
part
things I
of
don't
it,
like,
right.
but
Oh,
yes,
right.
yes,
Yeah.
my goodness. So tell me, what is your message, Tonni, to the world?
Oh my gosh. God's love reaches you no matter where you are. I have seen God's love and his blessings and his love. Not only did he go to the cross so that we can be with him forever and ever, but he takes and he blesses you through your life. He does things. One of my things is I love to watch for God kisses. These are the simple little things
Mm,
that there's no explanation for. It's not luck, it's not coincidence. Like for me, because I like when I go somewhere, I like to get there. So if I hit every light green, I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, thank you for those God kisses, right? But it's just the little things. You walk outside and you see a butterfly, or in the mornings you wake up and you hear the birds. That's God's love. He loves to meet you where you are. That the world needs more of him, I tell you. If the world knew who God was, man, we would be in such a different place. We would. And each and every one of us was created by God. But to know him, and not to know him just by going to church and saying that you know God and you believe in God, but to have that deep, deep relationship. So you just sit there, you crawl up on his lap, and you just stay there and you just listen to him, and you let his arms around you and let him hold you close and walk with you. And yeah, that's the message. And just don't forget who you are. Don't forget who you are.
Wow. I love the God kisses. I
Oh,
love
I
the
love,
God kisses.
oh, we can have a million of them in a day if we just pay attention, I think. It's just amazing. Or to watch, like how we lost each other because of my account got, hacked and stuff. And so I'm trying to remember all these people. And, and that it's just that. It's just those simple little things, how you reconnect with people. Or you meet this person and you know that this person's supposed to be connected to someone that you know. I think that's another gift that he gave me, because I'm always connecting people. So, but
Yes,
those are just God kisses. Those are
they
just, he's like,
are.
hey, I love you. I'm here. I'm going to give you the
Hmm.
greatest and the best of everything that I got. Are you willing?
Yes, that part. Are
Yeah.
you
Are you
willing?
willing? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Because I know, even when I was looking for you, because when I would tag, when I'm doing
I
different
know.
things, I'm like, where's my sis? Where's she at?
Mm.
And I kept looking for you, and finally I found you, and I was like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm looking for you. So yeah.
yes, someone posted porn on my site, and so they took me off. And so yeah, I couldn't even do a new account for 30 days. So I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh. So I was asking everybody over on LinkedIn, if you know my friends over here, please tell them. It was just, yeah, because it takes Facebook and Instagram. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I know. I
it
went
was
through it a year
a
ago. Yep. I went through the same thing a year
oh,
ago.
I tell
And
you. Yeah,
yeah, so that's why I have two pages now, because I ended up having to start one page, and just to be able to communicate. And then
right.
after I had started my other page, they released the other one back to me.
Yeah, and I could never get the old one back because I couldn't remember the password, and they say they would send it to my phone. Well, I'd never get a message from them, and it was like,
Wow.
just
It's a
start all over,
mess.
right? And God
And
just gives you a
that's it
whole new
right there.
beginning.
That's it
Exactly.
right there. Sometimes, when you think about, we're talking about successful living.
Mhm.
When you're getting ready to move in a different direction, sometimes we have so many people that's connected to us, and sometimes we can't even tell the ones that are connected to us that they're not supposed to be. Some
Right.
relationships are outdated. Okay. I've
Absolutely.
had to learn that there's some people that we try to bring with us to the next level, that they were only meant to go this far, and we
Right.
try to take them further. and
Yeah.
and so sometimes God has to shake things up so that we'll be connected to the ones we're supposed to, right? And make
Right.
space for the new people that's coming into
Yep.
our lives.
Completely agree. Been there, done that, through that. We learned that, right? And that's why
Yes.
Ecclesiastes 3:1-8 is my life verses. I have loved that since I was a little kid.
Yes.
There's a reason and a season for
Time and
everything
a
under the
season.
sun, not the
Yes.
sun. Now it's coming up, and you can probably see it in my face. My sun is coming up, but the sun, the
Yes.
holy sun. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yep.
There is a time, and that's one of mine as well. If we could just discern the times.
Right.
I'm always in my prayers, Lord, help me to discern the times, in the seasons, and even when we're going out and we're coming in, and being
Right.
sensitive to the things of God,
That's
hearing
right.
his voice, letting his heart guide us. So, when
Absolutely.
it's dealing with people. So that's so, so important. Tell
Yep.
us, what is next for Coach Tonni Lee?
Oh, Dr. Roslyn, I want to see my conferences grow. God gave me a vision, and I don't reveal it, but I can see it. I can see it
Yeah.
over and over and over again in my mind, my vision.
Yes.
And so I know it's coming. I know it's coming. And I love the fact of getting other speakers out there. I
Yes.
love to see that. Like this young lady that I've known. In fact, her mother and I grew up together. And so
Wow.
now I'm with the daughter, and it's just amazing. But to see her coming up, and she's like, "Oh, you're doing so much," because I'm helping her, not doing anything for her, but just things you just motivate them, or little things
Exactly.
and stuff like that. But I'm like, oh, I love it. And it just makes my heart just sing to see these other people be successful, just to see what God's doing in their life, and just to keep them going and pray over them and stuff. And so when speakers come and then you see them go out and you see them go out into other things, um you know and it's kind of funny because I have yet to really be on a big stage. I
Hmm.
mean, I've been to and did conferences and, smaller things. And then God just, developed this one and stuff. But to see people be successful, it just makes my heart so very, very happy. And
Yeah.
so, and to see people come to these conferences and to know that they receive something. Yeah. My journey is not going to be wasted. Not at
Mm-mm.
all. And
Mm-mm.
so, even the time, and I tell people this, when I'm speaking, do I look like a lady that would end up in jail? Well, I did, because I told the
Wow.
police that I slapped my ex-husband because he was cheating on me and he lied to me, but I was the one that told the police, so I had to go to jail. So I spent
Wow.
4 days in jail. Yeah. And so
Yes.
at that time, he did not waste the time in jail. There was a lady there
Wow.
that needed to know the love of God, and she needed a friend, and I was there. And so, he just takes all of that, and he never ever wastes 1 second of it.
He doesn't. He
Doesn't.
doesn't. And I love that. I love what I love about you is your transparency always. I think that when God has delivered us from so much, it makes it easy just to be who we are. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And authentic and very transparent. That's what makes us effective. And the same desire you have to bring women forward. I feel like that's my mandate from God. I love doing conferences and my
Yeah.
ladies teas that I do every 3 months and
Great.
bringing in different, speakers that has never spoken on any platforms, to give them a voice, the ones that's
Absolutely.
been voiceless, the ones that have been forgotten and on the back burner, to bring them to the forefront and give them a mic. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, this
Absolutely.
is your time. I was blessed to the last women's collaboration that we just did, Women in the Bible. It's Blueprints from Heaven, Women in the Bible edition. We just did a global collaboration. And some of the local women here, the Holy Spirit told me to do a photo shoot for them. And
Mm.
so I went in and hired a professional photographer, and we all met up together and did a photo shoot. And some of these ladies was literally in tears because they had never had a professional photo shoot. On to do some global interviews and put them on platforms that they've never been on. Then we went on the news and they were interviewed on the news. And so one of the ladies, she called and she was like, I just need to ask you, why are you doing these things for us for free? I said, because I believe in you.
That's right.
See, someone has to believe in their sisters. Nobody
Amen.
really believed in me at times. I had to be the one to believe in me.
Oh, right.
I had to be the one to learn how to do a lot of these things myself, because the ones that were already at that place wouldn't share with me how they got there.
Yeah.
And I always told God, when you teach me how, when you open the door for me, I'm going to hold the door open for my sisters.
Absolutely.
And
That's what
so
I love
I can
about
relate
you.
to you about the conferences and everything. Because a lot of times people say, you got all these people on your thing. They never put you on their conferences. I said, that's okay. That's okay.
Mhm.
I'm not doing it for them to do that.
Mm-mm.
I'm doing it because I believe in them and I want to see them win. Because I believe if my sister win, I win.
Right.
You know, You know my saying. I don't believe in competing. I'm here to complete.
That's right.
I'm here to help you complete your run, your mark, and get to your prize, and me get to my mark and my prize. Because that's what it's all
That's
about,
right.
us going together. And that's why I
Amen.
love this platform. I love what they're doing with education, globally, all around the world, allowing us to have a voice, allowing us as women to excel and not have the limitations on us. So I salute Mr. Uh, Sir Pandit. I really do,
Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
he is remarkable, and his whole team, they are servants' hearts, and I thank God for them. So we have a few minutes left, and I want to give you some time to really maybe have a healing moment for a woman or a man that's out there, um, that may be going through something and they don't know how to get unstuck from that place. They don't know how to move from that place. I want to give you the time to really talk to someone out there that may be listening in.
Okay. Well, if you're listening and you've been hurt so bad by betrayal or by being abandoned, rejection, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, those are all hard things to learn, to even just begin healing from. But I want you to know that I'm here. So I hope Dr. Roslyn will put up my information, but to let you know, and it's TonniLea.com or TonniLeaTV at Gmail. But I'm here for you. I will walk with you because someone walked with me. Not only did my Heavenly Father, but I had other people that supported me. But the first thing is that you have to choose. That's the first step. Choose. Do you want to heal? No, it's not an easy journey. Does it hurt? Absolutely, it hurts, because all of those hurts come back to your mind. But remember, you're not there anymore. The memory may be there, but you are not there. They cannot hurt you anymore. And don't carry the guilt. Don't carry the guilt anymore. Tell yourself that you were not involved in that. Someone did this to you. It was not you. It was nothing that you said, nothing that you did. They chose that. You chose to heal. That's the first step. That was probably the hardest thing that I had to learn. And that was especially with my abortion. When I had to go through all of this recovery, it brought up that I had hidden in my heart for about 30 years. It had just been shoved down in there. And I had to forgive myself for what I did to my little girl. And you know what God showed me? He showed me that she and him were running through heaven, greenest grass ever, chasing the most beautiful butterflies ever. And I knew she'd forgiven me. And I can't wait to meet her. And I know that when God comes to get me, she's going to be right there next to him. So I get to meet her immediately. And it's things like that, that we go through. God will heal us. He will.
Yes, he
We just
will.
have to make that choice. Choose to heal. Find someone that will walk with you, someone that someone that you can trust. And like I said, I'm here. But we are all worthy of healing and becoming healthy people.
Yes, very well said. That it's beautiful, having someone to walk with you. I remember as a little girl, it was a song that I used to sing. I come to the garden alone while the
Oh,
dew is still on roses. My grandmother, I used to sing in church, and that was the first song she taught me. And so I would be at the front of the church singing, I come to the garden alone
mhm.
while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the sound of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And it just is, that's what I heard when you were talking about your daughter and Jesus in the garden together.
Yeah.
No, nothing we go through is a thrown away experience. Nothing we go
No.
through is lost.
Mm-mm.
But that's the God that we serve. He's such a
Amen.
loving God.
Yes.
And so I wanted to share that with you, that song,
Beautiful.
and to everyone listening in. Thank you for listening in with us. Thank you for being with us at this time. And remember that, there is joy for your ashes.
Absolutely.
No matter how much you go through, there's healing for your
Amen.
soul.
Mm-hmm.
I
Big
am
time.
a witness. We are survivors. We are
Amen.
thrivers. We
Yes.
are. Thank
Yes.
you so much, Nana Kasaya. She says, what a beautiful voice. Thank you so much.
Um,
They're saying, congratulations. It's a good evening. Good luck to everyone. Dynamic Peace Rescue Mission is on. Congratulations, Able Excellencies. I mean, these are people from all over the world that
that's
are chiming
awesome. That
in.
is so amazing. I just love
Yeah,
that. Don't you just love that
yeah, I
about,
do.
COVID tried to take us all out and all it did was just
Made
excel
us
what God
closer.
was going to do. It did. And now we can just reach out to anyone in the world.
Yes,
I
yes,
just love it. I have met
yes.
people from everywhere. So amazing.
Same
Yeah.
here. I mean, even this platform, like I said, to be in Texas and to be able to be streamed, from
Right?
Australia, India, and all these places, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it is.
But it's amazing, and
Yeah.
that's why I always pray and say, Lord, who do I bring to this platform? Who do I interview? And God He's given me the ones to bring, because it's for so many reasons. We have to have a voice for the people and everything. And so, to be able to talk to the ones He want to talk to. And so I thank you so much for being my guest. I thank you for all that you do to make our world better. I salute you, and I'm always in the back going, go sis,
Thank you,
go, go,
sister.
go, forever. Yes, ma'am. And so I just thank you for everyone that's tuned in. Thank you again for
Yes.
the opportunity to be the host on this beautiful platform. And everyone out there, God bless y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, Sister Tonni.
Thank you, sister. Blessings. Bye.
Blessings. Bye bye.